Welcome to the Dirttime channel. I'm Alan Halcon.
I'm Christopher Nyergish.
I'm Dude McLean.
Christopher, we've had some emails. What is the best way to get into learning all about plants? How did you do it? What are your recommendations?
Okay, first, I was taking botany classes in high school and in college. And, you know, today you've got so many online sources and video sources. We didn't have that when I was growing up. But my first recommendation would be to find somebody locally where you could take a plant to and have the plant ID'd. That's the quick way to learn. But we all end up with books. You know, I take a plant sample, I bring it home, I try to ID it. So this is a small selection, but I picked out some of the key books that I thought one would use for identification. This is basically taxonomy. When the book says it's a linear leaf, a sessile stem, it's a pinnately divided leaf, all of it, you need to learn some terminology. Okay, just like when you hear Alan.
All together now.
Right. Well, just like when Alan is talking about the variations of stainless steel, even though he's not always right about that, he needs to know the terminology of knives. You need to know the terminology of plants. And I'm just bringing that up. It's an aside, but this is an excellent book if you can find it. Okay. Every area, wherever you happen to live in the country, has their book of flora that the botanists use. This is the Jepson Manual. The proper title is well, they've changed the title. You see the title there. But everybody knows it as the Jepson Manual. Everything that you're going to find in Southern California is in here more or less, but you do need to know the floral characteristics. This is not about plant uses. It's about IDing a plant that you find in the field. And this is like the local encyclopedia.
That is a very comprehensive book. It's very daunting.
A lot of text, but there are pictures, no color pictures. At a certain level, you will get this book if you're serious about plants. Dude?
Okay. I need help.
This one is the way I think botany ought to have been taught in school. All of the floral pictures are color. It's well detailed. Excellent book for the beginning botanist, and it's written, of course, for Southern California here, but the principle of how this book was written is excellent. Again, there's a little bit of uses, but it's really about IDing.
But so that would cover the Southwest, basically.
This would cover most of the Southwest. Flora of the Santa Ana River and Environs by Oscar Clarke.
My understanding, that book is not that easy to get.
I found it a little difficult, but people could do an online search.
Okay.
If anybody has questions about any of this, you could email me or go through Dirttime, and I'll let you know if I can help you out.
One of my favorite books.
Weeds of the West, very simple. Photos, description. Okay.
Yeah, it's got 3 photos generally of every plant.
Yeah, very good book. Common things that you're going to find throughout the West. Not about uses, it's about ID. Okay, but it's a very excellent book. This book I have on my website for sale, Botany in a Day, more properly titled Botany in a Year, but it is also the way botany...
More botany in a year?
Yeah. Well, you know...
I got you.
You're not going to master it in a day, but what I like about what Tom Elpel does here is he breaks down the families. It gives you an easy visual on how to recognize plant families, because that's going to speed up it's going to accelerate your learning on botany to know the families and the chemistry within each family. It's a very good breakdown.
If you had to choose one book, for a beginner book for someone to start with, out of the ones that you just showed for identification, which one would it be?
I'd have to say Oscar Clarke's book, because Botany in a Day is excellent, and I do sell it, and I want people to go and buy it. But Oscar Clarke's book is a little more comprehensive for the more serious student. For the dabbler like yourself, Alan, you would probably just take Botany in a Day.
You're a dabbler.
No, but I mean, actually, for the average person who just wants to get a basic understanding, I would go with this book. It depends on your level of interest.
Okay.
Like if you're interested in solar power, you wouldn't get and you're just generally interested, you'd buy Real Goods catalog. You wouldn't buy a technical electronics book. Okay, now we'll get into some uses books. Wild Edible Plants by Donald Kirk. This book is incredibly comprehensive, but you cannot ID anything from this book. So you use this book as a reference with other books.
So you use this book, for instance, and once you determine what the plant is, you'll use this.
You can go to this book to find out some of the uses.
Would that be the book of choice to start with for uses?
No. Probably wouldn't be my top choice for the average person today, but I like it and I still use it because it's very comprehensive.
Well, you're going to find as you get into more into the plants and so on, that one book isn't going to do it.
That's right. One book isn't going to do it.
No, absolutely.
You're going to end up with 5 or 6 books that you're going to go back to on a continuous basis.
This, of course, is my favorite book.
Of course.
Of course it is.
This has been in print since 1978, so it's my book. But I'm quick to admit it's not perfect. It's the plants that
Dude and I are pretty quick to admit that too.
I know that. You guys are a little bit too quick to admit that, but this is my Guide to Wild Foods book. Okay.
Actually, I was surprised, dude. You remember that time we took Christopher's book and we were flipping through it and just kind of testing ourselves on what plants we were familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we pretty much knew all the plants in that book.
Because that's what I teach you guys when we go on the walks.
That's right.
There's a lot of plants in there. How many plants are in that book?
A lot of
80
people,
or so, I don't know.
This is mostly all line drawings, and a lot of people on different forums and stuff have said they don't like line drawings, and I said once you get, and Christopher had said this to me 20 years ago, after you get to know the plants a little bit and how to identify things, the line drawings are actually superior in many ways.
Because you can show the detail. Plus, you should not think of this as a book of line drawings. You should think of this as a book that contains some of the original art from Christopher.
Oh my God. You know what you could sell that on eBay for?
A lot more than they're getting.
Yeah.
Okay, Edible and Medicinal Plants of the West by Gregory Tilford. Now, this book is fantastic. With all, the color drawings are incredible. Good descriptions. It has uses. This is, again, Western states, but I have found books like this all over the country. And this one I sell on the website. I like it for this area. Okay. This one is another special interest book, Healing with Medicinal Plants of the West. The photos, the descriptions in here are awesome. And by the way, Cecilia Garcia, may she rest in peace. She got killed in Mexico in a bicycle accident.
Wow.
Yeah. And James Adams, he was her partner. He did a fantastic job with this book. For medicinal uses, there's Michael Moore, the herbalist. I don't have any of his handy, but this is a fantastic book. Okay. This is probably one that I would recommend to the beginner. This is Samuel Thayer's book.
That's a great book,
The Forager's Harvest. He has 2 books. The photos are awesome on how to use the plants, and the descriptions clearly show that here's a guy that knows what he's doing. Most of these plants can be found all throughout the United States, so this is an awesome book. I'd highly recommend this one. Then we have some special interest books. This one is strictly about how to process acorns. So I know there's always interest in acorns. How do you do this? How do you do that? How do you make the mush? How do you leach it? This is a lady who's done it her whole life through several generations. So It Will Live Forever is another awesome book. It has a lot of historical stuff. I have many books of localized areas, wild plants of the Pueblo province. These are plants that the Native Americans used throughout the Four Corners in the Southwest area. So these are just some specialized books. Roadside Plants of Southern California. Unfortunately, it's no longer in print. I really like this because if you're driving around, you have these photos and very brief descriptions.
Yeah, I carry one of these in my car all the time.
It's a good book. This guy was a teacher at Pasadena City College.
Yeah, but and wherever you live, you'll find books like this that pertain to your area.
That's right. There are books like this all over the country. You just have to seek them out. And these are just examples. I have books from all over the world of the wild flora. This happens to be Australia, and this is Germany or Poland. I'm not sure. And I like getting them. I have some from Japan. I like getting them and thumbing through them and seeing how similar is the flora to our area here in Southern California. So there are literally hundreds of books, folks. This is just a very brief selection of the ones that I tend to use the most often. Okay?
That's pretty good. All right, Christopher. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Alan Halcon, Christopher Nirgish. Dude McLean. We'll see you next time on Dirttime.com.
Checking your 6.